Hi everyone! My two children are taking their morning naps, which is why I'm making this video. Apparently, the government has said that they are going to have budget being set aside to increase the salary of our healthcare workers. However, the government did not have a breakdown of how many percentage of healthcare workers are going to have how many percentage of increment in their salary. In fact, the government claimed that more than 50,000 healthcare workers will benefit from it, but the increase is only about 3%. And most healthcare workers are earning about $2,000 to $3,000 in terms of their salary, so a 3% increase is less than $100. Will the government actually give a breakdown of how much is being given to all the different categories of workers? Because they can say they give away a lump sum of money or a large amount of money, but the people who benefit may just be the doctors. What about the nurses and other healthcare workers who are working in the background? What about the healthcare support workers as well? Many people have also commented that there are many other industry and different sectors that are working throughout the whole COVID period. So what is the government going to do about these people, and how is the government going to benefit and increase the salary of this group of people in order to benefit their families, etc.? The government is not giving a clear breakdown of the situation. Not only that, the government also actually only gave out $1,750 in terms of nurses who are actually graduating from ITE. So if you were to Google nurses salary in Singapore, it is only $1,750 onwards. So how much is the increment going to be to these people in terms of how many dollars is it going to be? The government doesn't have a breakdown for that. Next up, the government has actually increased our petrol prices immediately, which means our transport fare, if let's say the nurses and doctors or the healthcare support workers have to rush down because of emergency, the amount of money they have to pay in terms of taxi, Grab or whatever is actually higher. But the salary increment is a few months later. So why is it that when the government is taking money from us, it is immediately, but when the government is giving money back to our healthcare workers, it is after a period of months? Not only that, if you are not in the healthcare industry or you lost your job during the COVID period, then this is another part that is actually going to affect your life, whereby the government is going to make our government subsidies or so-called subsidies to hospitals, and they are going to change the policy. Right now, the policies is in terms of how much you are earning, but the government is going to change this policy to in terms of how much your household is earning. So for example, you can be someone who has no income and you receive a high amount of subsidies. Because of this change in policy pegged to your household income, the government is going to say that since your household has an income, then you will not receive a high amount of subsidies anymore. So as someone who do not have an income, you have to actually pay a higher amount of money. Whereas on the other hand, someone who is actually earning a large amount of money, who didn't used to have subsidy, is now going to have and enjoy this subsidy that the so-called government is giving. Which means you can be earning a large amount of money. You can claim that you have a lot of people in your household and you only pay a small amount of money in the future for your hospital bill or healthcare bills. But if you are someone with no income, you do not get these subsidies anymore, which means you have to pay a larger amount of bill. So is this policy change going to help the poorer people, or is this subsidies change going to help the richer people? So let's say our Prime Minister, for example, he is going to have his children and his grandchildren, or maybe his great-grandchildren, whatever. His household people, number of people in his household is going to be larger. So he's going to pay a lesser amount of money because his household per capita is going to be smaller. So is this going to be fair? Whereas for the other population, the other Singaporeans, like for example, stay-at-home mothers who have no income, they will have to pay a larger amount of money because they are going to say that you have a household income. You are not considered as someone who has no income. Do you think this is fair to the general Singapore population, or do you think the policy change is only for the rich Singapore population? You may leave your comments down below and let me know what other news article and other policy changes is affecting our lives. See you!